Huge news for people who don't have a lot of money and want to buy things they can't afford. Xsolla and Affirm partner to help game developers offer players a smarter, more flexible way to pay. So this probably went over a lot of people's heads. Immediately reading this, you might not immediately recognize what's going on here. So for those of you who don't know, Affirm is like one of those buy now, pay later programs. There's been a lot of them popping up recently, which they are like a pretty big problem. Depending on where they land, it can be a huge issue. Now, if you don't know what buy now, pay later is like as a program, it's the same way that you would like make payments on like a car or a phone or a house, except it's for like anything really. Like for example, here's the Klarna website, how to pay Klarna at DoorDash, to buy now, pay later a DoorDash order. Let's say I wanted like a 12 piece of wings from Wingstop right now, but I couldn't afford it, like my bank account was at zero. I could buy it now and pay it later with Klarna. Or in this instance, a game, you know, if I want to use it with a game through Xsolla, because Xsolla is a platform that is used to make transactions on games. They work with a lot of stuff. I'll get more into it later. But let's say I wanted 500 gems on Clash of Clans, but my bank account's at zero. But I really want 500 gems, so I can use Affirm to buy it now and pay for it later. Now, in my mind, this is like a huge issue if you don't see it just on its immediate surface. And it's awful that this is becoming so accessible and so easy to use. There is no good ending for allowing you to buy now and pay later for anything video game related. I'm going to be completely honest, there is no benefit. The only people who come out on top are the people who work at Affirm or Xsolla. Not even the people who work, I worded that wrong, the people who own. Of course, the purchases are split into interest-free bi-weekly or longer monthly installments. So, you know, at face value, if you know for a fact you can afford it, and your money would be better placed in like some investment location, maybe it might be worth it. If I'm buying a $60 game, and I know for a fact I have the $60 and I will have it by the time it's time to make the payments, and the $60 can instead be in, I don't know, some high yield investment program I mean, really any investment program. If I have $60 when I start and I end with $60.50, that's 50 cents I wouldn't have had I not done this. But really that's a lot of work and still a gamble to take. I'm going off on a tangent here. I'm not gonna go off on this. Yes, there are instances where this can be used for good, but in a lot of cases, it's not going to, and that's how it's designed. It's not designed to allow you to invest that money in the time that you would spend to actually like pay off the payment itself. It's designed to prey on people who are unable to make the payments. It's interest-free. So it draws you in. There's no downside to doing it until you can't pay. And then you get hit by the fees. Now let me get into why this is just a horrible problem. I'm pretty sure there was a point that I was trying to get to earlier before I started going off on a little bit of a tangent. I'm just going to abandon that now and move on to the next part that I was going to talk about. I was trying to figure out who uses Xsolla because I have no clue who like does my payments whenever I buy something. Like the majority of payments that I make through games, I have made payments through Steam, and I have made payments through the Google Play Store, and then before that, the Apple App Store, and I think that's really it. I think this is the only microtransaction. Nope, no, I bought the Battle Pass on Marvel Rivals once. I did do that. Everything else, I'm fairly certain, has gone through one of those three platforms. So I've got no clue who Xsolla works for or who they run through. So I did a little bit of research, and I found, I don't know if this is true. I don't know this website. I'm not gonna fact check or anything. I'm just gonna look right here. Companies currently using Xsolla: Electronic Arts, EA.com. If y'all don't know a little bit about Electronic Arts, is that they are the microtransactions game company. They are Mr. Microtransaction, and of course, EA, well known for some absolutely outrageous things like Star Wars Battlefront several years ago, locking characters behind paywalls of hundreds of dollars to be able to play the characters that are in the game. It's not like a skin situation or anything. It's like pay hundreds of dollars to play this character. You know, you can get past like, okay, fine, $15 here or there, maybe even $20, but $400? Absolutely diabolical. Hello, editor here. Oh, guess what? I'm also the editor for my videos. That's freaking crazy. I was reminded also while I was doing the editing that the Battlefield situation had another bit around it, another EA issue, right? Now this, we can probably blame this more on John Riccitiello, to be honest. Like, he's gone, he's not in EA anymore, but they're the company that bred this creature, where back in the day, they floated the idea of paying to reload. So imagine you're in the middle of a heated fight, you can't afford to reload, but you can take out a 6-month loan on your next pack of bullets that you're gonna pay off over the next 6 months so you can win this game. Imagine that's the future that we live in right now. That could have happened. We were so close to that happening. Thank God it didn't, but just imagine. They've done a lot more. Another thing that comes to mind that keeps showing up on my feed is FIFA, and this is where I'm going. This is where I'm moving forward. If y'all don't know, FIFA is like half game, half gambling. More gambling than game in my mind. You open packs, same way, you open loot boxes to get stuff. You know, you play with the characters that you get from opening loot boxes. It kind of turns it into a card game of sorts, where you build your deck of characters that you pull out of the packs and you play with them. But one of the really fun games, or fun ways, I don't know why I said games, fun things about this is that it turns your play experience into gambling, and it turns your ability to perform into gambling. You are better by spending more money, just directly. And EA doesn't just do this with FIFA, Madden, NHL, all kinds of different games. Like, their EA Sports catalog is just full of gambling. It's not just like gambling straight for the character, okay? There's another fun thing that game companies do, and this is something that is notorious in arcades. I can guarantee you, if you go to any arcade right now, you will see this in the way that they charge for games. Let's say I have a game that costs like $22.50 to play, right? $2.50. I go up to that game, it might say something like 5 credits to play, or 7 credits, or 8 credits, but the game costs $2.50, because when I went to the machine, I paid $5 for 10 credits, or I paid $5 for 10 credits plus 2 bonus credits, or maybe I paid $5 for 5 credits plus 3 bonus credits to give me like something like 8 or something. Some funky number like that, which means not only is your money that you have on your card, the money that you were in possession of, not one-to-one, but when you go up to a machine that says, hey, this is how much I cost, you don't know how much that costs just by looking at it. You have to do the math to figure it out. Which is why, in those videos that I showed, I'm gonna pull up this one right here of Madden. Look at how many currencies he has up here. Look at how many he has. This Pro Ace Fantasy Pack costs 80,000. I don't play Madden, so I don't know what this currency is. 80,000 UT or 1,050p. Tell me how much money that is. Tell me how much money that is right now in USD. Let's see if I can even find out. Actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to switch over. I had an NHL video pulled up. Sorry, not NHL, a FIFA video pulled up, because that was what I looked up first. I'm not even going to look that up. I'm just going to pull up the cost analysis for the FC coins for FIFA, okay? Because this is what I had. This is what I had prepared. I don't know why I decided to go to the Madden route. Great. All right. Completely reasonable. 500 FC points for $4.99. All right? That's almost 1 for 1, okay? Perfect ratio. With the exception of like 1 cent that's floating out, all right? But let's move up a bit. Oh, wait a second. As soon as we get to the 1,050, it's a different price. Now we're at $10 for 1,050. It's shifted a little bit. Let's move up a little bit more. Oh, $25 for 28. And as you see, the further you go up this list, the more you get for less. So now it is 500 points for $5, right? 1 cent per point. If you bought it for 1 cent per point. And oftentimes, the reason that it's set up like this is so that you don't. It is the most economical to spend 150 bucks on your points. And let's say you did. Let's say you spent 150 bucks on your points and you said, I'm never gambling again. Or not gambling, because that example wouldn't work. Let's say like, this is going to last me until it's done, and I'm going to limit how much I spend so that I don't, you know, do this too often, right? So this is a little treat for myself. You no longer know how much things cost to gamble. You no longer know, because your 18,500 points is not 18,500 cents. It's not $185 anymore. It's not, it's $150. So you really have no clue what you're buying. Let's look at another example. You know, this is all EA, right? This is only games that use EA, but Xsolla does a lot of other stuff, right? Let's move outside of gambling, okay? You know, often these games are kind of more catered towards adults, right? Granted, they can be played by kids and kids can purchase the loot boxes for them, but let's move to something that's actually catered towards kids. Roblox. How much do you think the LeBron James Ferry costs? It's 55 Robux. I'll give you a second. Tell me how much in USD this costs. Okay, well good. Now, I didn't give you a second, okay? We're just moving straight on. I gave you plenty of seconds, but I cut the video so that you didn't see them. So, let's figure out how much you're actually spending on the 55 Robux LeBron James Ferry. You are spending anywhere from 0.00998 cents per Robux to 0.00833 cents per Robux. Interestingly, because of the way the pricing is formatted, it's actually least effective to buy the $20 option because of the additional 3 cents that it costs over the $4.99 option. But anyways, I think I said 0.998 to 0.833. I was wrong about that. It's 0.01 to 0.00833, all right? Already a level of obfuscation. As a child, though, you're probably not spending $200 on one drop on Robux, but is what it is. So that means your LeBron James Ferry can cost you anywhere from 55 cents to 46 cents. You won't know how much that costs. Now, also, if you're using, maybe you bought those Robux earlier and you chose to pay it off over a period of 12 months instead of just outright. Well, now your LeBron James Ferry costs you anywhere from 0.38 cents to 0.46 a month. Oh, very affordable. It's only 0.046 cents. Let's use a little bit more serious of an example. Instead of like the 55 Robux LeBron James Ferry, I used it because I thought it was funny and it was like a nice small number. Let's do the Core Blocks Death Speaker at 1,700 Robux. Tell me how much this costs. I'm not going to give you a second. We're just going to move straight on because I know you can't. This right now costs anywhere from $17 to $14.16. I said it backwards. $14.16 to $17. Much wider range, much larger option. Or alternatively, 1.18 cents to 1.417 cents a month for 12 months. You are spending the same amount of money regardless over that period of 12 months. There is not one layer of obfuscation to buy the LeBron James Ferry of 55 Robux, a completely arbitrary currency that you don't know how much that costs. But now, you're not just buying that arbitrary currency, just what the heck is going on in the recommendations? I just got so distracted. You're not just buying that 55 Robux one time for 55 cents a Robux or like 0.4 whatever cents a Robux. You're buying it for, you know, pennies a month. Now it feels like this costs you a couple pennies. Just straight up, you spend a couple pennies and you can have it. But you don't process any of the stuff down the line. It just doesn't go in and out your head. Anyways, that's the bit. I'm gonna stop talking now. This is really cool, and it's really cool that people who can't afford things that they want to have can be further enticed to buy things that they can't afford. Including, I hope to God, wait, hold on. Is there like an age verification to use Affirm? Thank God, you have to be 18 or older to use Affirm. Maybe the problem's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Maybe. But as we all know, children like to get around things. I mean, this isn't even like a children problem. If I'm gonna be frank, this is a gambler's problem. For some reason, there's so much gambling in video games. And seeing that this is directly supporting Electronic Arts, this is going to gambling. You are going to be taking out loans to gamble. Anyways, what I was going to say, this is a direct tax on poor people, which is like very cool. And people who are unable to, the same people who would be unable to recognize that this is bad for them are probably the same people who would be in the situation where this will be detrimental to them. And the only people who are going to stop it are the people who made the system in the first place. These guys right here, they're the people who can't stop it, and they're going to choose not to and instead make it worse. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.